Well, hello everybody. My name's Amanda Johnson. For those of you who don't know me, I am the founder and chief inspirational officer over at Awaken Village Press. I am also a book doula, and I am so very excited to celebrate the launch of our latest book today. Today's a very special day for many reasons. We're going to get into some of that, but first and foremost, it is the day that Phil Williams' book, Fuck You, God, One Man's Evolution from Pursuit Through Pain to Peace. I have the proof copy here, very exciting, is now available. So today I am going to be talking with the author live. We will also have another guest or two perhaps joining us. We're going to see how that flows today. But I thank you to all of y'all who joined to be here with us while we talk a little bit about this book. And I want to just give you a little, read a little bit from the back of it so you know what this story is all about. The title is very evocative, provocative, but once you meet Phil and you hear his story, I know that this book is going to resonate with you as much as it has resonated with me. So what could lead a little fellow to set a putt-putt course on fire and years later host a keg party at his parents' house during high school when his father was a prominent pastor in town, only to go on to defy all odds and become perhaps a combination of the smallest and slowest starting wide receiver in major college football history? And how did that youngster eventually become an NFL agent by accident? Meet his future wife on a steamy asphalt parking lot with a "Hey, what's your name?" yelled across that same parking lot by way of introduction, and then have his heart radically transformed by the birth of his first child, Hannah, before raising 3 more children. And how could this same man possibly handle the news that his beloved daughter was dying? And more so, once she died, would it ever be possible for him to find healing? Join Phil Williams on his journey as he weaves humorous, heartwarming, and intriguing stories from birth until fatherhood, and then walk with him on the most painful path a parent could ever imagine, all of which leads him to what he would call the only journey worth taking, the journey to discover what this life is really all about and who we really are. Well, I've got goosebumps. Phil, I'm going to bring you on, my friend. Give me 1 second. We're going to get Phil Williams live here. 4 years ago, let's say, give or take. And I had to say, when I met him, I knew, here he is, that he had a story worth sharing. He knew he had a story worth sharing. And here we are, 4 years later, and it's here on a very special day. Phil, welcome.
It's good to be here.
So if you don't mind, I'm going to share a little bit about the significance of today, if that's okay with you.
It's okay.
Today is the anniversary, October 22nd, of Phil's daughter, Hannah, her passing. We're transitioning. And that is what, 9 years ago today, and that is what prompted this entire journey and this entire book, if I can say that correctly. So we're here to talk about that. We're here to celebrate Hannah. And we're here to celebrate your book. So if you are watching this, just thank you for being here and thank you for helping us celebrate today. So Phil, welcome. People will learn more about you over the course of our conversations today. And of course, if you aren't already following Phil, a lot of you already are. That's why you're here today. Be sure to be doing that. And he's got a lot more coming. So Phil, with what I just said, I mean, of course, this is a very, it's a very emotional topic. It's a very emotional day. It's a very emotional theme. And then yet it's such a powerful book. And the way you write it and share it is so beautiful. But again, we talked about this title. You and I talked a lot about the title and whether or not you wanted to use it and how people might receive it. And I certainly think, I think you made the right choice, but tell our viewers a little bit about why did you choose this title? And either I have just completely taken his breath away or he is frozen. So we're going to see if he comes back. And of course, if he is in Costa Rica right now, we all know that Costa Rica Wi-Fi is just a little wobbly. I still see his face out there, and I think I still see people joining. So I'm pretty sure my connection is strong and stable, but he might need to reboot, and join us again. So in the meantime, so yes, I'm asking the big question, why the title of this book? But let me tell you just a little bit more about Phil while we try to get him back. Okay, so Phil Williams, he is a storyteller merging the worlds of normal life, sports, grief, spirituality, and more. Sometimes with a humorous touch and often with a knack for the whimsical. A former collegiate football star at Florida State University, he spent nearly 3 decades as an NFL agent, and he's coming back. So I'm going to let him in now so he knows that I've got him. But yeah, he was an NFL agent, so we might have some of his old players joining us. And for the past 8+ years, he has enjoyed traversing what he calls the Robinson Crusoe beaches of the Caribbean and Costa Rica. And you're back, Phil. So I don't know if you heard my question or not, but
Yes, I did, and
right.
I didn't go anywhere.
No,
I don't know what
you
happened.
were
I
right
just
here.
dropped off the screen, but yeah. So I had something to respond. It was actually as I listened to you at the very beginning read the back of it. A lot of times when I write things, in a sense, especially something like this, I detach a little bit, and yet listening to you read it, I got a bit emotional. Anyway, so the title, yeah, that's the $1 million question for a lot of people, and I'll try to give maybe two perspectives on that. And I don't expect anybody to necessarily believe the first one, but it's just the way it is. 9 years ago today, when Hannah passed, I told my mother. I can't explain to you how it happened, but it was clear as day to me. It was a download, if you want to call it that. I told my mother that I had to write this book. Had I thought about writing a book about? Oh, hell no. But yeah, I knew that I was to write a book, and I told my mother that the name of the book was "Fuck You, God." 9 years ago today, and my mother said, "I understand," because she saw what we went through. So I tried to get away from that title at times, but it wouldn't let it go. And part of the reason that that's true is because it is my very strong belief that there's not a soul who's ever visited this planet that has not at some point or another experienced such pain that they have not felt that which we call God is cruel. And, and so it went way beyond that for me, obviously. And yet that moment where this title came into my mind is like a fulcrum from which the pre-fill and the post-fill. And the post-fill, and these are just words, was to go on a journey that breathing those words out, feeling them so deeply with such anger and emotion, I believe allowed not only a small portal to open up, but it was as I look back, as if I could hear love, which is another name for God, saying, yeah, you got to be honest. And so the honesty of that, regardless of the way, years ago I would have probably been offended by the terminology. I see it differently now. So hopefully that's at least the partial answer.
And that's I have to say it was a beautiful answer. And for those, again, watching, I highly encourage you to go grab a copy of this book. You do have to search, you can search it with the asterisk or just the FCK, you'll find it out there. Fuck You, God. It is well worth not only to read, to better understand what he meant by what he just said. And to your point, Phil, they're all just words, and yet this book is full of beautiful words. It's full of them. So when you get to the end of it, I believe, will have an even deeper understanding and a greater sense of what Phil just conveyed so succinctly. So, all right, let's hear hear a little bit from you, Phil, in terms of right out of the straight from the book. So we're gonna, for those watching, we just want to give you little bites, little sound bites, little
Oh,
teasers.
okay.
So I'm gonna ask you to pull up your first excerpt. He's gonna read a couple of excerpts today on this live. We also have a very special guest who's gonna be joining us. So stay tuned, McShann. Thank you, McShann Walker, for being here. We're gonna bring him on here in just a few minutes.
What's up,
And
buddy?
we're gonna celebrate. We're gonna remind you to go grab a copy. You can find it wherever books are sold: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Spotify. We have the audiobook available, and when you hear Phil read this excerpt, you're gonna realize you're gonna want the audiobook too. All right, Phil, I'm gonna hand it over to read an excerpt from your book.
Okay, this is from early in the book. The mid-July day was typical for Peachtree City, hot and humid. The skies were clear enough, mainly blue with patches of clouds, but the air was thick and god-awful stifling. It had a quality to it that was like nothing I'd ever felt before, as if fissures had broken through the Earth's surface, maybe all the way from hell, and released gases from deep below with a numbing effect. Every breath I took was insufficient, unable to create room in my chest to truly breathe, to feel some kind of relief. Not my baby, echoed in my mind again and again. Negotiations had already commenced between me and God. Please spare her. Take me instead. Anybody but Hannah. I have no idea how long we sat there before finally relaxing our grip on each other and looking into each other's tear-soaked eyes. I love you, I muttered, chin still quivering a little. She nodded and even smiled a little. I love you too, Daddy. Maybe we should go somewhere else. Yeah, let's get out of here. We, we stood up from the bench and made our way toward my car, hand in hand. Neither one of us with any idea where we might go, but both certain we were on a journey that would challenge every belief we had ever known.
Thank you. All right, there's a little soundbite for you guys watching. Again, hearing your voice, Phil, read this book is it's a whole nother experience. So McShann Walker, we're going to get you on here in just 1 minute. But first, I just want to say something. You know, Phil has received so many endorsements for this book, praises, reviews, and it's just incredible to hear what people are saying about this book who had early copies to read. This is from Don Van Natta Jr. For your sport fanatics out there, you might know the name. He is an ESPN senior writer and a New York Times bestselling author. And he had to say this about this book. Phil Williams' life is a test and triumph of will. I love this big, beautiful, brave book. So, Don, thank you for the endorsement. And all of you out there, you're going to have to read it for yourself. Okay, McShann, I'm bringing you on right now, my friend. Thanks for being patient, and thanks for joining us today. McShann Walker, he's coming in. He's an entrepreneur and a former collegiate baseball player. And fun little story, he and Phil met at a coffee shop in Estes Park, Colorado. Anyway, you guys were chatting about baseball, and you became friends, and then, you know, here we are today. So welcome to the launch party.
Hey, thanks, guys. I hope you can hear me. Phil hadn't made it back from the airport yet, but so service is a little spotty, and I got the dog in the back seat.
There he is,
So
Ollie Ollie.
he's wondering what's going on, but it's congratulations. This is fantastic to see this come to fruition.
Well, McShann, thank you for being here. And Phil, you can also, if you have a question for him, you know, I'll give you some time to share. But I just wanted to ask, you know, as someone who's had a chance to, I believe you listened to the book, you got one of the first audio versions. And again, it's both a beautifully written book, but also very well read by our lovely Phil Williams here. But what about the book just really stood out to you? I mean, you know, what did you love about it?
Well, first of all, I was the one who a long time ago I was like, if you're writing this, you have to read it as well on the audiobook because his voice is so powerful and his emotion. You can't fake that. You can't recreate the emotion that he has to those words. So it being read in his voice is really powerful. My favorite thing about it, it's a very difficult book, and I feel like if you don't have something in your life that resonates to the emotion that goes on via the trauma and the search that happens, then you must have lived a really charmed life, right? If you can't relate to both the wonderful feelings and then the terrible feelings of loneliness and hopelessness. And there's multiple times through that where, like, it's a tearjerker, and it'll knock some scabs off, in a way that I think it also shows hope and healing for those things as well too. So I think he did a really good job of the full circle of emotion that and search that he goes through. So,
Beautiful.
and I've known he was writing it for a while, and I was. You always worry when someone tells you they're writing a book who's never written a book before, and this was. I was overly impressed, Phil. So I'm so happy to be a part of this today.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
I love you, brother.
I love you too.
Phil, before we say goodbye, is there anything you want to ask or say about this lovely gentleman who took some time to join us today?
No, just that it's life is interesting. I was out in Estes Park and just happened to overhear McShann, I believe, speaking to Kevin about baseball.
Yeah.
I think, at the coffee counter while I was waiting on my coffee, not knowing that I was listening to two good friends,
Right.
two very good friends speaking. But the baseball thing, sports, I popped in and talked. Next thing you know, we're outside sitting on a bench talking about some pretty deep stuff.
Well, I heard him talking. I said, wait a second, where are you from? And he was wearing a Braves hat. And grew up, listening to the Braves on the AM radio. So it was an immediate, like, serendipity is a cool thing.
Yes, it is.
I like to say older brother, But listen, I love McShann knows I love him, and I'm thankful for our relationship, and I'm thankful that you took the time to come on today and share your thoughts.
Hey, it's an honor, and I hope so many people get to enjoy kind of what you've put out there for the world. So thank you, guys.
Thank you, McShann. Take care and have a beautiful
great day.
Thanks for taking
Too.
time to celebrate. Wow.
Pleasure.
Okay. And we'll see. You just hit an X or close your app, and you should
All right,
just
cool.
leave somehow.
Ciao, brother.
Amazing. So, Phil, some amazing people. I'm going to go off of this I'm going to add a question here, about sports, because of course you do talk quite a bit about sports in the book, and sports has been a big part of your life. And I just want to, ask you kind of, what do you think its role in the book is, sports?
Its role in the book is shaping the life of the person telling the story. So, yeah, that was, as you know, probably the two main things we even talked about was the name, the title, and couldn't get away from it. And secondly was the fact that I did include some sports stories when the story is not about sports, and yet sports were such a part of my life that shaped the way I began to see things, and not just through playing sports, but through being involved as an NFL agent for so long and witnessing so many of the aspects of the players, the teams, the media, all these types of things. And so sports had a huge role in shaping my life and, presenting certain opportunities for me to learn things and, quote, good and bad. I'm just labeling those for the moment, but yeah. It just, it had to be in there. And I try to tell the stories within the stories so that those who aren't sports fans don't get the least bit bogged down. And so far, that's what I'm hearing from those who have. So
That's right. So, and again, you've got a number of fellow players and sports fans and those who have really been very touched and moved by your book, and of course for very good reason. So Let's see, where are we at? I'd love for you to read us just a little bit more, if you don't mind. So we got a little flavor from the first part. So this book has 4 parts. Maybe you can find us something from the second part. Give us a little insight, a little teaser. And for those who are watching this, of course, we're going to be going live again later on Facebook here. And we're going to, of course, have more things to share and talk about and other guests. So if you just haven't gotten enough of Phil, make sure you pop over to that as well after this. All right, Phil, so read another little section from the book, if you will.
Hey, listen, so this actually coincides, not that if it was planned, I didn't know it, but coincides with the sports aspect of it on a certain level. Representing NFL players had its benefits for sure, but it also had a downside. Watching young players chase their dreams and then finding out that those dreams were often hollow began to wear on me. I never once saw a player whose life was truly fulfilled by making it, no matter how successful they were. Not mine, after making the crucial catch at Nebraska, nor anyone else when cornered and pushed for honesty. I've been to several Super Bowls through the years, always courtesy of clients who were playing in them, and I've watched a bunch more. I'm always amused when the players are standing on the podium after the game, a lot of the world watching, and the television reporter sticks a microphone in their face after asking that one question they can't seem to avoid asking. How does it feel? It is as if all gets broken down into a feeling. I mean, it's got to be a state of ecstasy, right? Like the bliss I had expected from winning the state championship back in my own glory days, right? But what do they usually say? Uh, I don't know. It hasn't hit me yet. To be honest, I'm not so sure it ever will.
Again, more goosebumps. So yes, I find it fascinating. I will speak for myself. I am not a sports fan. I don't know a lot of sports. And yet your stories were so compelling, Phil. And there was always, like you said, a story within the story. There was a reason. There was a something kind of driving the purpose of it. And not only that, you do share such a huge part of your life by telling us those stories. So thank you for reading that. I want to read one more endorsement because, again, I mean, this book was full of them, but I'm only going to read a few here today. Lisa Natoli, she is a spiritual teacher of the Healing Cure. Unfortunately, couldn't join us today. I know she wanted to be here, but Lisa, thank you for your endorsement. Thank you for your support of this book. She said that the best book I have ever read on the process of grief. It is a story of life, death, healing, and the search for truth. This book is an invitation to feel, to be vulnerable, to know what's important, to face pain that seems too intense, and most importantly, to love deeply. And I think she hit the nail on the head, so to speak, with that endorsement. Again, if you're watching, thank you so much. Please go out and buy your copy today. It is very, very important, especially for new authors of new books, to have as many people buy the book on launch day specifically. So if you can go grab a copy today, it would mean the world to Phil. It would mean the world to us. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on Barnes & Noble. You can, again, basically find it anywhere you will find your books are sold. Again, paperback, ebook, and audiobook are available on different platforms. So go out and find your preferred method. All right, let's see. So Lisa, I wanted to ask you just a few more questions, Phil. So, okay, we covered the sports, we covered the title. I want to ask you, what was the hardest part about writing this book?
Talking about myself.
You're not alone in that.
I sort of wrote it a few years back. Like I said, I always knew I was supposed to write it. So I sort of wrote it a few years back, and people told me, we got to get to know you, because I went right into the illness, went crazy on that and the journey afterwards. But people convinced me that you gotta. It was almost like ego in reverse, which is ego.
Mm-hmm.
You know, was I realized people got to get to know Phil, get to know the uh, the kid, the young man, the father, all those things. And so those stories.
Yeah. And you tell
Hey,
them again.
I don't mean to interrupt
Please.
the emotion of that, but
Mm-hmm.
it's so funny. One of my former clients is just commenting on how he likes
Mm-hmm.
my beard.
I see this.
big
Thanks,
big
George.
George, big George, I love you, brother. Anyway, go
Yeah, you've
ahead.
got
Sorry.
a lot of supporters here today, and I think it's really beautiful, and all y'all who are here, and even if you aren't here live but you've watched the replay, again, thank you so much. And interestingly, Phil, you've had the presence of Hannah, I believe, here with you today. At least that's my, yeah, I believe that, and I think she's been with you the whole time you wrote this book. um, I'm going to just keep loving up on your book here. I'm going to read one more endorsement. This is by Anthony Hargrove. He's a Super Bowl champion. So here we go. One of your clients, correct? One of your former clients. So buckle up, clear your schedule, and get ready for an incredible book. Athlete or not, believer or not, this book is for you. So go grab your copy today, if you will, and also leave a review. So that also really, really helps Phil out. It helps the book out. It just helps it reach more people. Those algorithms love reviews. So get a copy, leave a review for it, if you will. Again, Spotify's got audiobook, Barnes and Noble's got the audiobook. It will be out on Audible shortly, so stay tuned for that. But again, anywhere your book is, you can find books. Amazon for sure has it right now in all formats. Phil, any closing words? We're going to be wrapping this up here just in a few minutes. And then again, if for any reason you didn't catch this whole live and you want to see us live again, we will be over on Facebook in half an hour. So at 2 p.m. Eastern, we will be on Facebook doing live again with a couple other guests. Hopefully even Tony Hargrove himself or Anthony Hargrove himself will be live with us. So that'll be exciting to see him. Any closing words, Phil?
This this book was meant to be written. Um, I never thought about it as a, sell a book. It was never about that. It was about it was about you. It was about me. It was about the stories of our lives. And in my case, I just happened to be one of us. And what happened in my life, I believe, we're so fearful on a certain level of something like what happened to me happening to others, and it has happened to others. But but and not that I was anything special, because I know I'm not. But the the fact that today, 9 years ago, when Hannah passed, I knew it was sending me on a journey, and that journey is one that I think should be told and heard. So, and that's what this book is. So.
Yes, it is. Thank you. Thank you, truly. Thank you for writing it. And thank you for writing it so well. I mean, I have to say, I have read a lot of books. I have read a lot of first-time author books, all right? And I truly mean, and I know we all can feel it. I can feel the emotionality, the emotion, the depth, the feeling. You do such an amazing job conveying that through words, through story. And I promise you, who are, all y'all out there who are going to get your copy, yes, as McShann said, it's a tearjerker. You will find yourself in tears. You will also find yourself laughing out loud. You will find yourself smiling. And I do truly believe you will find yourself at the end of the book having a little greater insight into what life is truly about. And honestly, that's the biggest gift for all of us. So, Bill Williams, thank you so much. Thank you for going on this journey. Thank you for going on this journey with me and allowing me to be a part of it. And I am just so, so happy for you and excited for you and what is yet to come.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure, obviously.
Thank you to all who are here, who are watching. Again, if you missed the live, go watch the replay. And of course, follow along, follow Phil, and he's got plenty more where this came from. So stay tuned. This is the first of many that I believe he will be sharing with the world. So make sure you follow him, philwilliamswrites.com, philwilliamswrites.com. You can find more about him there. You can also find out more about the book and where to buy it. So head on over there. We've got a link in our profile. Essentially, wherever you can find it, you're going to be able to send us a message if you have any questions. And thanks again for joining us, everybody. Have a blessed day. And thanks again, Phil. Take care.
Thank you.